Welcome back, everybody. Saturdays with Chickenduck, episode 143. Nick Krotulski in the studio today. Longtime Patreon listener and supporter. Good to have you, buddy. Made the long drive just for us, or were there other matters that you were...
Nah, I was sitting in North Carolina and said to myself, you know where I need to be right now.
I'm going to fucking drive to Reading, Pennsylvania. Well, welcome back.
Thanks.
Are you
Happy
okay?
to be here.
Yeah, why?
Well, you were losing your mind over there.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm good.
Bright, your face is bright.
I'm good.
Ryan Vu.
Hello.
Welcome back 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
So,
starting a new trend.
Did you ride your bike here?
I did not.
Did you walk here?
To be a little bit warmer.
So
No, I didn't walk.
Your vehicle's running it. Oh, you got a new car?
Well, it's the same car. I just got it back.
I thought we had a discussion that you had a new car, but now that I think about it, I'm thinking about somebody else.
Right.
He's also of Asian descent and stands about 5 foot tall. So
Sits across from you at the podcast table.
well, he's the bartender, and he sits across from me there. So
Well,
Touche.
you can see how you can get confused.
he got a new car, and now I'm fucking confused and embarrassed. So I'm sorry.
That's all right, bud.
You're here.
I am. How are you?
I'm still kind of salty about our pre-podcast conversation.
That's all right.
I don't know that that's the way we should go into things.
If you'd like to hear what we were talking about before the show, sign up at patreon.com.
It's not free.
/Chickenduck.
You're going to have to sign a waiver and an NDA and all kinds of other shit. So what is going on, Nick? Where are you living?
I live in Greensboro, North Carolina now. I moved down there for a job back in 2014, 15.
Are you fixing airplanes or something huge mechanical?
I've been in the aviation industry, but I work at Honda Jet in Greensboro now. So, yeah, since 2014, started there as a technician doing wing assembly. So, building the wings for the Honda Jet that a lot of people don't know exists. I guess we didn't even really talk about that. I know Casey knows, but, well,
I know where you work and what sort of what you do, but
yeah.
I mean, I know what those two words together mean. I know what Honda is, and I know what jets are. But
a lot of people don't know that Honda started building jets.
Oh well, I mean, again, putting Honda in front of the word jet implied that was the case.
So that's what that's where I work. Greensboro, North Carolina is the world headquarters.
Nice
for production of the Honda Jet. So.
Monster facility, I'm assuming.
Pretty large.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, compared to what, I guess, but
you don't have
several buildings.
There's no hangars or any. I mean, you're just.
Oh yeah, they're hangars.
Oh.
I mean, they're large production hangars. So it's kind of like a jumbo hangar almost, but it's like an assembly line.
You build You build a jet, and then. No wait.
These are small business jets.
Okay, so I'm thinking I'm not
4 to 7
thinking
passengers.
correctly. I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of jet engine. I was thinking you just building the engines.
No,
the
engines get assembled in a whole different place, and then they get delivered to our facility, and then the engines get installed.
A runway where you fly them out?
Yeah,
of
we share the airport space with the Greensboro Airport. So it's like on the like you would see at a Boeing facility
or
anything like that.
They just like, okay, open it up.
No, it's just on the other side. We're on the other side of the runway.
Here are your keys.
So I wasn't thinking that small though. I was thinking when you say jet, I'm thinking like the planes that I fly on.
Yeah, these are small.
God, always have to go there.
Like the 13-seaters?
Yeah, well,
no, 13 and a half.
13 and a half.
That would be the size that he's talking about.
He said 4 to 7.
Yeah.
Well, then let's get it out in the air now. Then.
Well, 4 regular passengers, but you can fit like 3 extra people in there,
so
you can carry 7 people. So yes, one size jet, one type of jet.
They know better than to make an aisle 13.
No, we just haven't gotten there yet.
See?
Well, they'll skip it. They said.
Actually, the Japanese in Asia they skip the number 4. I heard you talk about that sometime.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah. There's been much
number 4 is like the equivalent of 13 in a lot of Asian
really?
cultures,
Wow.
as far as like bad luck, which is a really shitty number when it comes to like how tall they build all their buildings, because they skip building like
number
4 on like all their buildings.
Yeah, you get there a lot quicker than you get to 13.
So I'm sure. I imagine
they got a lot of 13+ story buildings too. So double whammy.
Yeah.
See, the stupid thing about that is there's still a level 4. It's still there. They just don't call it number 4.
It's just an empty floor. You never get there.
You'll know.
The elevator just skips.
Nobody lives on the 5th floor in Korea, if you know what I'm saying.
Dude, it's a blank, empty floor.
I know.
You just go right over it.
Yeah, I know, but it's still there.
The elevator door doesn't even open.
It
on
still
that floor.
exists.
It's not a blank floor. They just skipped the number.
No.
Oh, he almost believed that it was blank.
You
Sometimes
believe that they
sometimes
build
I
an
think
entire unnecessary level of a building
No, because then
that has zero potential business return.
right. Yes.
Well,
For the sake of
sometimes
not
I think
freaking
that
out
they use like
their
the clients.
clientele.
It's just like a storage room, and they send all the
That's what they
temps
put
in
all
there
the
to get
that's,
stuff.
that's where
Right.
they put all the
I
HVAC.
honestly think that's
yeah.
what they do. They use it. They fill it with like the HVAC, like you said, and the machinery that they need to run the building, storage. They don't just build like an empty room. They don't just let it empty.
How did I get you? Did I get you to? Was that your belief before that conversation?
Yeah, yeah, I knew that. I knew that that's what they
He
do.
knew that.
I'm trying to figure out if I put that in your head
I knew that long before I
because
knew
you know that there's not just a blank floor, right? Like they just skip the numbers. Like
Yeah, yeah, they use it
But
for
what you're
something.
Yes, we're having this
We need to move
conversation.
So, Nick, how did you get
When
into?
you listen to that, when you listen to that conversation, I want you to give me a call. When you hear yourself in that conversation, I want you to ring me up and be like, I got it. Because your fucking head should just pop off right now. The 12th and 13th and 14th floor. If the floor's not the 13th floor, like it just goes 12, 14. What you're saying is that the 14th floor is full of just storage and other stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Call me.
I've seen it.
What 14th floor building have you been in lately
There was one in
that
Philly.
you went snooping around?
Hold on, I just gotta check something out before we head up to the roof.
That's the tallest Home Depot I've ever been on.
No, I was down in Philly on a tall building. I was very, very up there.
Way up.
Yep. So one thing about 2 episodes ago, we were talking with Mike Santarelli.
Mm-hmm.
He asked me about my favorite wrestler, the Iron Sheik. He was the bodyguard for the Shah of Iran.
Great.
Remember?
Can we get back to talking about anything else? Although, I'll be honest, I saw a Mean Gene Okerlund blooper reel the other day that had me laughing.
Yeah,
pretty
you
good.
sent it to me. I didn't watch it, though.
It's pretty funny. It's pretty much just him chain smoking while everybody shits on
Really?
him. Yeah, it's really funny. He's just
Wow.
like, puts the cigarette down
Like
to do the
during
interview.
takes.
Puts the cigarette down to do the to do the interview, and then like they're all busting each other's balls, and everybody's all coked up. And then
He's
he starts-
holding the cigarette while
Watch
he's
the
doing
fucking video. There's either an ashtray on a chair right off the camera,
or he's ashing on the floor.
Or I can almost guarantee you, either way, he's ashing on the floor. You got to watch that video.
watch
It's very good quality.
I'll watch it.
Yeah, Bobby Heenan's in it, and I'm pretty sure he's as high on cocaine as any person could reasonably be without having a fucking heart attack while not wearing a shirt.
Oh, boy.
So
Rest in peace.
Bobby dead. Bobby.
Yeah. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, too.
Sorry. Yeah, well.
So, Nick, how did you get into the aviation field? Were you in the Air Force at all?
Yeah. I joined the Air Force back in 2003 when I was 21. That was after, I don't know if you remember, I used to live down on 5th Street here.
No.
But yeah, I lived like right downtown, like Fitz and Washington.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and then eventually, yeah, it was awesome.
No, I don't remember that.
Wow.
Yeah,
Where?
yeah.
I'm trying to think of what's it.
It was like, I mean, there was that Lincoln Hotel or whatever they
Yeah.
call it
Yeah.
now. So it was like basically next door to that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, next to the parking garage.
Wow.
There was like a
Washington Towers.
There was like a little like seamstress or something place up front, and then like my apartment was in the rear on the first floor there. So
yeah, I sort of do remember.
Yeah,
You
we
absolutely do not.
Was I ever there?
May have
I
had a
ever there?
party
I'm
or
not
two
questioning
there.
that.
Oh yeah.
I'm not even.
There.
You could have lived there for a fucking short amount of time. I'm not questioning that at all. That's a point in your life where you don't remember it. I guarantee it. You could have saved somebody's life out front, or like lost one of your fingers out front. You would not remember that. 2003. Get a fucking hold of yourself. You were wearing pants with more patch coverings of other pairs of pants, and corduroy and all kinds of stuff, and long flowing
Locks.
God almighty.
So the short answer is yes. you were definitely there, timer 3.
Okay.
But
I do remember it.
That was back in the old swerving days.
Maybe
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, to any of our listeners that haven't heard, Swervin Mervin Dietrich died the other week. So rest in peace, Merv.
Did you talk to John about that?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
that's a shame.
Well, wherever he went, he took the party with him.
Yeah,
That's for goddamn sure. Or he's getting it started. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
But he ain't sitting there.
No.
Way to bring it down.
Well, Nick.
Sorry. Way to bring it down.
My
Nick.
bad. But that was those days. And but yeah, I'd gotten out of there and got to Allentown to try to get back to school for some drafting that I was into. And it just wasn't working out. And I eventually joined the military out of lack of options and, no real path. So that's what got me into aviation. I took the first job that would get me out of Berks County. And
Why?
and with the scores I had on the test, the quickest one that got me out was like 6 months away for aircraft structural maintenance. And I was like, yeah, sure. And there was like drafting involved with it and stuff like that. So I was like, sure, why not? Go for that. So, after, it was like any job in the military, it was oversold. For what it was.
Shocking.
But yeah, but no, it's not a bad trade at all.
Right.
I'm a sheet metal structural.
So you
mechanic.
Mechanical drawing is what you thought you were going to.
That's what I was going for. More on the architectural side is what I wanted to focus on, but most of my education was in mechanical. Right. So, to that
Good
point.
old government.
Yeah. And, but no, I mean, I make decent use of it. But
Certainly
just
something
just having a drafting background, actually being able to draw nice pictures
Yeah.
is really, when you're laying out patterns and things like that, drawing up repairs, because like there's, and a lot of, especially in the military, a lot of the repair guides for these planes are kind of vague. Like, if this is the condition, if it's somewhere between this and this, then try to do this type of repair. But you figure out the measurements. So,
I mean, you're there, we're not.
yeah, exactly. And in the maintenance world, things have to be, kind of loosey-goosey like that. Everything still gets inspected and, looked behind and everything. But, but that's what I did in the Air Force. And then that kind of carried over. I worked in helicopter production for a while, actually, down in Philly at Augusta Aerospace. And they build helicopters. So that was my first job out of the military and my first production job, which is a very different world from maintenance. I learned the hard way. Not the hardest way. A lot of people learn the hard way by getting fired, but because you can't deviate from any instructions in production. Everything
100%.
has to be by the print. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people that come from the maintenance world have a hard time grasping that concept. Because they're used to being like, whatever. Oh shit! I made an extra hole there. Oh well, I'll just make it bigger.
Here are your extra parts, sir.
Well, no, because in the maintenance world, there are instructions in the textbook for if you fuck up that hole. If you fuck up this hole, this is how you fix it.
Right.
But in the production world, you have to get permission from the engineering department to deviate from whatever the drawing says that hole is supposed to be.
Hell yeah.
So, I mean, that hole will get blown out later in life, and there will be no documentation of it virtually anywhere. Right. But, it'll be repaired properly per the repair manual. But yeah, so I bounced around from place to place and literally around the world, South Korea and Afghanistan for a little bit, doing repair and maintenance for Army helicopters, and eventually landed back here in 2014. That's when I went to Honda, and then we're back in the production environment again, and that's where I like being. So So also a little over a year ago, I wound up earning a promotion off the floor, so I'm not a technician anymore. I'm actually working in the engineering department. So
Nice.
I got a desk job, and I help all the mechanics, all the technicians with the assembly and assist in like correcting work instructions and coming up with repairs and things like that.
Very cool.
So it's fun.
So do you work in like mostly in like a CAD program, or do you work like drawing?
No, it's a CAD
Drafting?
program.
You're
No,
not
I use
doing
CATIA.
it. Okay.
Is a program. I don't know if you heard of it or familiar with any
No.
CAD stuff.
I'm familiar with some, but rudimentary stuff.
I mean, I did AutoCAD back. I mean, I have zero education in this.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I'm winging it. I bought myself a textbook and like trying to learn in my spare time.
Sure.
But like, I had AutoCAD 2000.
That's
back
how I
in-
learned how to do all of our editing.
Yeah.
I know of the AutoCAD program because I do the
I'll tell you
drawings.
what. I hope I'm pulling it off a little better.
I do the drawings, and then I give it to an AutoCAD guy, and he puts it in the,
Yeah, he's the
the
expert.
program. Yeah. Yep.
What's his name?
Redacted.
Oh, hey,
Yes. So when you were over in Afghanistan and all the other countries and stuff,
Yeah.
you were working as a civilian. But were you
Yeah,
working
it was
for
a
the
civilian.
military?
It was a civilian for a company that was contracted by the military. So it was one of those when you hear about these backdoor deals about some
Blackwater.
guy's uncle's cousin
Right.
fucking owning that fucking corporation that just happened to get that sweet contract. One of those companies, allegedly, or I assume. I don't want to get suicided.
Fucking
Right.
there's a drone watching my house now. God, we're not even fucking live.
Well, no, because I'm over there in Afghanistan working. There are sheet metal technicians there that are Army technicians. We're working on Army helicopters. They have the exact same education, went to the exact same school at the exact same Naval Air Base that I went to learn their job. And here they are working side by side with these civilians. And, like, they never did any of the work. Like, we were the contractors, and we did all the work on all the planes, all the helicopters, rather, all the time.
So what would
It's
they
like-
do? Just
Hang out in the air conditioning, mostly. They ate a lot of Cliff Bars, got a lot of Gatorade. They had a ration per month, and they made sure that ration was
Yeah,
used.
otherwise it'll go down.
So those are the people I made friends with as soon as I got there, and I spent a lot of time in that air conditioning. But I would try to, like, these guys like wanted to come out and learn. They were like, we have zero on-the-job experience, on-the-job training here. Like, we need OJT bad. And I'm like, hey, let me check with my, tell your sergeant to talk to my supervisor and let you shadow me. If nothing, you're not allowed to touch a plane, not allowed to work on it because of contract, blah, blah, blah. But at least you can, watch what I'm doing and I can, explain some stuff to you. Because, I mean, you can fucking learn in the classroom all you want, but, without hands-on, no, they weren't allowed, man. They couldn't touch the planes. They couldn't come out and watch. They couldn't
couldn't
shadow.
even
They
watch
couldn't.
it.
Liability,
No.
liability,
Yeah.
liability,
Yep,
liability.
Yep,
If a fucking bolt fell the wrong way and somebody got hurt, or if God forbid they fucking knew something or shared
but
information,
the point is, why were we there?
right,
Or why were they there?
right.
They were spending 12 hours a day in their cubes
for
while
the
we were
same
spending 12
reason-
hours a day working on the helicopter.
I mean, for the same reason that we have to send, like, we have there's union jobs. We're not a union shop. You have to send a union, like somebody from the.
But
union
why does
needs
the
to be at
military
the
need to
job.
contract out?
Dude, because they have more money than they know what to do with. They need to keep our economy moving, and to do that, they can't give all of it.
Oh boy,
Can't pay
we're not
to
going to
play.
go down that road today.
Yeah, right. You want to have a pay to play guy?
You don't
We're
wanna
having
get
the
me
mayor
started
come
on
on.
that.
He might have something to say to that effect. I mean, it all comes down to everything's got to be out in the open and by the book, I'm sure. So
Yeah.
who knows?
The
I'm sure it's
military's
all
the
on the up
company
and up.
over there, though.
I'm sure it's all in the up and up.
yeah, there's certain jobs like when I go to
Keep
New
going,
York.
drone.
When I go to like New York or Chicago, like big places like that, however many people the roofing crew brings, they have to hire that many union guys.
Absolutely, 1-to-1.
Yep.
Yeah,
And they do pretty much nothing.
Oh yeah, I mean, some of the guys are good, some of the guys aren't.
Right.
It's all. I know, like most of the people I know couldn't go to a job and just stand there and watch somebody work for fucking 8 hours.
No.
But
That would,
apparently,
that would make me go crazy.
right. Well, once you season yourself that you're getting paid $50 or $60 or $70 or $80 an hour to do that, somehow it's okay. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, that's
All
true.
right. Here's
I
your
guess I'll
wrench.
go watch you guys.
Here's your hammer.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah,
Yeah, there's some civilians making some serious cash on contracts over there that they have well-trained Army personnel to do.
I was watching YouTube video about the biggest armies that you've never heard of, top 10 biggest and they were right. There was about 7 of them that I'd never heard of, and they're all these paid.
Is that Momo Films on YouTube?
No, it wasn't Momo.
There's this
Top
guy.
10.
Did you ever see that guy?
Mhm.
Momo. He does like the top 10 of everything.
Mhm.
It's pretty cool. I've been watching a lot of them.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Little shout out to Momo.
Momo. Hey, Momo.
hey, Case.
So
Thanks for that, by the way.
Hey, Momo. I'm like bookending your story with that, huh? Thanks for coming, Nick.
Oh, I'm so glad to be here.
What made you decide to go into the Air Force instead of like the other branches of military? Did you know anyone in the Air
Funny
Force?
story. No, I knew a couple guys in the Marines, and I was about to join the Marines. I went and talked to a Marine. It's because the Marines that I knew I respected, and I kind of liked what they were doing. And you're going to laugh when I tell you who, because I'm going to blank on the names now. Hang on. We'll come back to it. But anyway, so I was talking to them, and Frank, and his cousin, Jeremy.
Okay.
It was them I was talking to. After and they were only, I think, reserves. I don't think they even went active duty. And I had no idea about the difference at the time. But I was talking to them. I was like, yeah, man, I actually talked to a Marine recruiter. And, I'm going to sign some paperwork tomorrow. I'm definitely doing this. They're like, dude, don't do it, man. Join the Air Force.
It was that close. You were ready to sign the papers the next
I was ready.
day.
I mean, I was already going to, I was about to go take the ASVAB.
Okay.
So that's, the precursor, right, to test what, jobs you're eligible to apply for, right? But I guess you sign a contract before that even, depending on then, or maybe take the test first. I can't remember. It was a while ago. But, yeah, and they were like, trust me, like, the Air Force gets treated way better. Like, there are way more perks. The pay's exactly the same for the rank. You earn rank the same way. It takes the same amount of time. Like, if I had it all to do over again, I'd join the Air Force. Join the Air Force, man. Wow. And or maybe maybe I shouldn't call them out by name. I don't know.
I can blame.
It was a long time ago too, though. But so that's the next day I went and talked to an Air Force recruiter. I walked in, a super cute blonde chick sitting behind the desk. And I'm like,
all right,
oh hey,
Air Force it is.
And she and I chatted, and she sold me on some Air Force jobs that seemed more my speed, some possibilities and things like that, and which of course were all lies, but she was pretty
but she was
a pretty blonde, yeah. So I went back to the other Marine dude, was like, sorry bro, not doing it. And he was like, oh, come on bro. And I'm like, nah. I didn't tell him why. I didn't have the heart. And they'll be like, yeah, 2 Marines were like, don't fucking do it, man.
Then there was this hot chick.
Yeah. Air Force is way cooler, man. Go for it. So much easier.
So where were you stationed?
Ellsworth Air Force Base, South Dakota.
Ooh, a lot going on there.
That's a good one.
Flat.
Yeah, when I got told, I went to school in Pensacola. When I got told I was going there, I started laughing at the master sergeant, like, fuck you
Is this a
laughing
rip?
at,
Am I being punked
something
right
funny,
now?
airman.
Did I do something to piss you off?
Yeah,
Are you sending me
like-
to fucking South
I'm like,
Dakota?
are you joking, sir? He's like, no, you're going to South Dakota. I'm like, excuse me, sir, there's an Air Force base in South Dakota? Are we waiting for Canada to invade up there? Like, what the hell? I had no idea. So I went there to work on B-1 bombers, which is a blessing and a curse. Well, it's a great plane to learn the job on, but she was a bitch to work on.
They're huge, right?
Big plane.
They are huge, and they got everything because it's not sheet metal is kind of like a moniker for the summarization of what I do, but really it's like structural technician if you want to so we're talking about sheet metal, different kinds of metal, composite stuff, and all different types of repairs. There's a lot of tubing involved, and in the Air Force, so a lot of stuff that I did on the B-1 that was technically part of my job that was not really a big deal on other aircrafts. So, like, having the opportunity to work on that bird taught me a lot more about my job and the fundamentals of it that I probably wouldn't have learned, working on something easier. So,
A bird's a plane.
Yeah.
Just so you know. Just making sure. You got to kind of.
My bad. Didn't mean to go into
Gotta-
shop talk
you
there.
gotta-
I'm
well,
sorry.
it's all right.
I honestly, I
Lou
didn't
and I are
expect to
all
talk
right,
this
but,
much about aviation today. I'm sorry.
Old rocks in the head next to me.
And we can steer off aviation anytime. I swear. You know, I'm not.
Well, I
trying
mean,
to,
you're here.
Yeah.
We don't talk about it, so you might as well give it some sunshine, you know?
I mean, it's not like I'm trying to sell it or anything either.
Hey.
No.
It's
So-
interesting to
I'm,
hear
not, I'm
about.
definitely,
far
I'm
as
definitely
what-
not telling kids to join the military.
So far, who's off to go to the Air Force as soon as we're done with this
Yeah,
conversation?
I believe that.
I'm thinking about changing careers.
What are you
About that
drinking?
time.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
That's,
Jesus.
half and half.
Yeah,
A what?
Oh, strawberry though.
An Arnold
Disgusting.
Palmer.
Is that an Arnie Palmy?
It is.
Yeah,
I
but
didn't realize.
strawberry.
Yeah,
Ew.
it's not that bad. I didn't realize it was strawberry. When
That's
I picked
so
it up.
much going on.
That would give me instant heartburn.
I just kind
So
of
that
saw
tastes like strawberry iced tea and lemonade, or
no lemon. It doesn't. Well,
What?
Yeah,
Lemonade?
there is a little. I guess I don't know. It tastes more.
you
like
don't even know
strawberry
what you're
tea.
drinking.
It tastes just
You're
like
ingesting
strawberry
a
tea.
can that's almost the size of you,
Right.
of your forearm at the very least, and you don't
Right.
know what's in it.
Right.
And it was probably like $6.
I saw
99
Arnie on
cents.
it.
Oh, you
99
know it's
cents.
good. That's how you know it's good.
I
Those-
saw Arnie on the can, and I thought it was a regular.
Those Arnold Palmer teas that size have been 99 cents since we were in high school.
That's Arizona tea that you're thinking of.
It is. It is.
Isn't that an Arizona brand?
Is it?
Yes. I don't know if it says it on here anywhere, but
Oh, how fucking convenient. Are you
why
kidding
do you
me?
think I would know?
Oh,
what
it's
is going
Arizona
on?
brand. It just doesn't say that anywhere. It's
Well,
the
it was
only
next to.
it's the
oh,
only
Bull
can of
Casey.
iced tea ever in the history of
Oh,
iced
Bull
tea
Casey.
to not have any brand recognition on it at all.
All the Arizona teas were 99 cents on the bottom, and this one was on the end.
Does Arnold Palmer have his own brand?
It's got to
of
be
tea?
on there. Nick. It's on there.
DrinkArizona.com.
Yeah.
All right,
That
DrinkArizona.com.
just
Right
happened.
next to ArnoldPalmer.com.
All right.
Yeah.
Good thing Nick's here.
Thank you,
Why
Nick.
the fuck couldn't you do that? This could have ended 20 seconds ago.
I still don't agree with the fact that it's strawberry.
Oh no.
Is it strawberry flavored?
Wait, but it's called half. But it's still called half and half. That's the bullshit right there.
It is.
Because which half is the strawberry?
Right.
And then
That's what I. Yeah.
The tea,
Yeah.
I believe.
I think
because-
there's
The
strawberry
tea's
in-
strawberry
tea,
tea.
because that's what it tastes like.
There's strawberry in both of them.
No.
well, then it's
You
not
can-
half and half.
you
It's
can
third and
have-
third and third.
You can have a strawberry lemonade.
This guy.
Third.
This guy. This guy's got the math down.
Fucking good. He's good.
So again, that brings me back to like, if that's the case, then the strawberry should be bigger and more pronounced. Maybe like
It's taking up definitely a third of the can, though.
Yeah, you didn't even
in
know
total.
it was
In total,
strawberry when you bought it, right?
no, because
Oh,
it looks
no,
like
no,
it's
'cause
golf
these are all-
memorabilia for Christ's sake.
I mean,
And what's with the
Oh.
Jamaican
yeah,
flag
the
up in the upper
400
right-hand
Yeah,
corner?
there's a
Can
lot of
should've-
strawberry on
should've
there.
given it away.
What's with
But
the
I-
umbrella? What's the umbrella? all
The
about?
It's a
umbrella.
golf umbrella, obviously.
Why
Oh,
is
that's
it,
to let you know that it's
It's raining down strawberries.
all community safe.
It's raining down
It's
strawberries.
raining down straw.
Yeah, it's.
There was your. There's your giveaway.
Yeah, I should have noticed that.
This
but
ar-
I didn't.
Why is Arnie Palmer in the middle of a field of strawberries? I wonder.
Somebody punking them. They just. they had a
I'm
chopper.
sorry, you weren't ready for this.
I
were
was
you?
not. No.
You weren't ready for this round of grilling.
You're
about
cold.
here.
No, why?
You have your jacket on.
Well, I'm comfortable.
Okay.
It is a little chilly down here.
Yeah.
I mean, I might get chilly if I take it
Nick
off.
spent some time in South Dakota. I wanted to make sure he was comfortable. Is it cold there? Is it? What is it? What is South
cold
Dakota?
there?
I ask the right questions.
Good to see you, Jim.
I honestly don't know anything
Yeah,
about
no,
South
it
Dakota,
is-
and that might come as a complete surprise
no,
to you.
it's, I know. To be fair, neither did I.
You and the other 8 people that have lived there the past 20 years haven't gotten this far, so you're the first.
I did manage to make it out of that black hole. I had to leave the Air Force to do it.
Really, you were like the whole time.
Yeah.
They weren't fucking around.
No.
Like, no, you're gonna be there.
Yeah.
Did you like ask? Can you ask to go somewhere?
Oh
else?
yeah.
And you were asking to go.
Oh
somewhere.
yeah.
And they said no.
Nah.
You don't
Jesus.
come off as an offensive person, but like who?
Ha.
Who did you piss off?
You didn't know me then.
Did you get caught sneaking out of your superior officers?
No, it was a combination.
Kids,
It was a combination of bad luck, a little bit of bad attitude on my part. There were multiple factors at play.
You didn't bang the
one could
sergeant's
argue
daughter or
which led to
anything,
which.
got a Top Gun or anything.
I don't think I went in with a bad attitude, but I definitely came out with one. But one could argue the opposite as well. You know what I mean? So it's. That was
you're 21. You're not 18 at that point, right? So you're probably a couple years older.
I was 22 by the time I
got.
got to my station. Yeah.
He's probably mad they didn't have Strawberry Arnold Palmer's down there.
I didn't know what the fucking Arnold Palmer was.
Neither does South Dakota.
But South Dakota is where I learned how to golf.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, there you go.
I don't know anymore. It's been a long time.
So how long were you in the Air Force for?
Just my 4 years.
4 years?
Did my time and got out.
Is that when you sign up for the when you sign up for the military? Is that how it works? Like you're in for 4 years?
Well, it
Or what?
depends. There are different types of contracts you can sign for different bonuses.
Typically,
usually they'll
it's
offer
like
more bonus for a 6-year contract
Okay.
or something like
But
that.
typically it's 4 years.
4 years, the minimum. Yeah.
Well, how would I know that?
I don't know. Maybe if you weren't such a terrible American. Commie.
Setting the bar low there, Jim.
Commie. I see you looking at my shirt. This is one of the original TESD shirts. Because we're
The original, as in we're
one
not.
of their original shirts. They've been around for 7 years.
I don't know.
Tell them, Steve Dave.
Oh.
They've been around for 7 years, Nick. He's wearing an original.
Is that a podcast?
Yeah,
He
it's,
talks
okay.
about him every 2 podcasts here.
I'm sorry.
How would I?
it's the guys.
How would I know to recognize something from a podcast if I saw it out in public?
Well, if you listen to that podcast, you would know, or if you were
What's with the ant?
or if you were curious about it, you could ask the person
is
wearing
that
it.
an
sure
ant?
Yeah, it's an army ant
Army
because that's
ant.
what they call their listeners.
Yo
Ants.
ho.
Yo-ho
Hashtag
is what
yo-ho.
Walt Flanagan, the one guy on the show,
Uh-huh.
he thought that's what people said instead of YOLO.
Huh.
So they made a huge deal about it.
I think yo-ho's funnier.
Yeah.
You get really uncomfortable anytime we talk about another podcast. That's so funny.
Why?
Because you're waiting to hear what I'm going to ask that you're going to have to defend.
Well, when we first started our show, we based it the first 20 episodes were pretty much based on. Tell
You
'em
did.
Steve Dave.
How would I base it on something I don't know about? I've admittedly never listened to a single episode of any podcast, let alone Tell Him Steve Dave or ours or anything else. I listen to music in the car, at my desk. Sometimes I hum to myself while I'm taking a shit. I don't ever in any of those instances when I hear other people talk, I have enough going on rattling around in my brain from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed. And most of it's you or somebody else telling me to clean my basement or some other nonsense of responsibility that I have to do. Take after my 2-year-old. Make sure he's fed. God, so needy.
Changing the diaper. Well,
I don't
diapers
do that. I don't do that or feed the cat. My 2 rules.
Yeah, he still wears a diaper. He's not that old. Jesus.
Who, me?
Carter.
Oh, yeah.
He's still
Him too.
him too.
No. I like the shirt. It's great. Anyway.
Almost spit that out.
What is this? Is this a tomato in here? What else? I keep looking at it thinking it's like
It's a pretzel.
why is,
It's a very
bag that's
salty
red.
pretzel.
Oh, is that why nobody wants it?
Yes.
Anybody want anything from Shirley's Place?
No,
Not a
thank you.
sponsor.
Okay.
Although you could be, Michael.
I asked about having them on. You said no.
Can we get these with Chickenduck on them?
Sure. So what else is new, Nick? So why don't you tell the people why it's so good to be a Patreon for Chickenduck? Or patron. on our Patreon page.
Well, you could have prepped me a little bit for that.
You get
I mean, I'm kind of good at winging it, but no, I mean, I appreciated what you guys are trying to do. You know, start a pod. I want to start a podcast myself. It's something I've been talking about for a couple of years. It's one of those things where it's like,
All you need is an annoying fucking friend that shows up every single week and won't let you do anything at lunchtime.
no matter
on a
how
Sunday.
much I try to be that guy, people kick me out.
Well,
Because I have all the equipment.
all you got to do is convince your
really,
wife
it's-
and put your life on hold every single Sunday at noon. That's it.
Well-
No big deal. Oh, and clean your basement. Oh, and give your wife shit
So
for
North
smoking
Carolina,
cigarettes
most
in
of
your
us
own
don't have
basement.
basements.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Well, you could build an addition.
I have a back porch I was thinking about using.
turn it into a
Oh.
little studio.
Yeah.
you
I'm
said you
already
have-
trying to make it a more comfortable room, you know. So, but
You have all the equipment.
yeah, well, we also my wife and I have a small karaoke DJ business down there in Greensboro. So
Okay.
I got equipment for that can also be used, you know.
Sure.
So I already have like the mixers, I got microphones, I got, you know, there's very little equipment I need.
You couldn't bring a
So.
DJ horn that we could play? Like,
Oh, that no, that's not like one of those.
can you add that when I do that?
Yes.
No, it's not like one of those. I hadn't gotten into
You don't have
any
like
editing.
a DJ Khaled voiceover?
No, I mean, no, I was just no.
DJ Khaled!
I did sometimes like kind of talk that way. Like sometimes I call myself like, "All right, everybody, let's get our next singer up here." And I'm like, "Oh my god, I sound like a strip club DJ." What the fuck am I doing? Oh,
Nick,
but-
turn your white
Coming
down
to the
just a little bit.
Ginger, you're coming on stage?
You've seen her before. You know her. You love her. Introducing my wife, Grace. We are Grace's karaoke.
Wow. Yeah, don't do that. Oops. People will be very confused.
And then she gets up there and shakes her ass and all as well. No, seriously, my wife's a singer, and so she started getting hired for like singing gigs around town, like mostly at Filipino events. She's also Filipino. Side note, but
I mean, it helps.
so, yeah,
when you're dealing with Filipino events.
that's why she was getting hired.
Right,
But and people started asking if she had her own equipment, you know, because she would only just sing with other bands. And like a band would hire her, or somebody would hire her to sing with a band, and then she wound up like rehearsing with this band. Maybe she got paid, maybe not.
So you were sick of traveling with a Filipino band, and you were like, I need to get some equipment.
Well, yeah. So I was like, I can do this with a computer.
I keep traveling around in this Filipino band RV, and my life's just not where I want it to be right now. I didn't spend those years in the Air Force building planes to be driving around in some fucking roadie for a Filipino fucking. What kind of bands do they have?
I feel like the word band was mischaracterized. let's back up just a little bit here. I'm
was
talking
a guy
about
with a
things like
guitar.
like church bands.
Oh yeah,
Where's Jimbo?
Jimbo probably
there is like a local. There is
going
like
to Filipino man meets and such.
there is a local band there called Rocket Science, and one of their singers is Filipina, and my wife has sung with them I think a couple times. You know,
Nice.
they do like local events and stuff like that. But like besides that, people.
I mean, is there a big,
there
is
was a
there a big,
karaoke niche.
big
Right,
Filipino community in your?
Yes.
Okay, 'cause that would be
no,
my
they're
first
everywhere.
question.
I learned, they're everywhere.
Okay,
You know this. I know you know this.
are you Filipino?
Like no, but you're his own kind is what I mean. He knows where all the Vietnamese are, and he knows.
Are you Vietnamese?
I get like a spidey sense. You know, you can tell. Like if there's another Vietnamese within a certain mile radius, I get a tingling. You know.
What I mean is,
There's a grandmother rolling out spring rolls 2 blocks down the street, and Vu's going
Sniffs them
crazy.
out.
I smell the fish sauce. I'm on my way.
what I mean is, Vu's much more plugged into the community than you're even aware exists in this area.
Gotcha.
I'm willing to bet. And the same thing happened as soon as my wife.
I think
'cause
you're
lived,
seriously
no, 'cause
underestimating my involvement in the Filipino
I
community.
absolutely
in
am not.
this area. Okay, we'll leave it at that.
I mean, you can prove otherwise.
I'll tell
I'm
you.
not gonna turn away facts.
I'm sorry, I can't.
Okay, anyway.
Not without jeopardizing my entire what marriage and everything.
So I lived in North Carolina for a year, almost a year and a half before my wife and kids actually got there. It was an immigration thing, whole other story. But so in that entire time, I had seen precisely one Filipina, and I knew this because I heard her speak, and I knew the language a little bit. And coincidentally, my battery was also dead, and I needed a jump start, and like she was right parked next to me at the gas pump, and I was like, "Oh, perfect time to practice my Tagalog," which is their language, and it freaked her the fuck out.
What is the language?
It's called Tagalog, but
Fucking
anyway.
6-foot bald guy starts fucking talking to me.
Say, can you? So how good are you in that language?
Oh, not very.
Not good enough that the lady was very comfortable while she was
No, because I'd
pepper
asked her.
spray in one hand. And
Well,
fucking,
first I'd asked her for a jump start because that I don't know how to ask for. I said, "Excuse me." I said, "Well, first I said, excuse me, Po," and Po, like P-O, is like an honorific that you just kind of put. It's kind of like with addressing either with respect or an elder. In their language, right? So you just kind of put that at the end of every sentence, regardless of what the fuck you're saying.
Okay.
And so I said, "Excuse me, Paul," and she kind of like looked at me weird. But then I said, like, my battery's dead. Would you mind, like, you're right here. I have cables. Can you just, can I just hook up and start the car? And she said, "Okay, yeah, sure." And and I hooked it up.
I'm Vietnamese.
And then no, because
I'm joking. I'm sorry.
anyway. Remember, I also lived in Korea. I got a good racist
Better
Asian
than I
eye.
am.
But and when after the car was started, I thanked her. I was like, "Maraming salamat po," and she was like, like, what the fuck are you like? She like ran away. 'Cause it's like now she had already like been there for a few minutes. I didn't mention like, "Oh, by the way, my wife is Filipino and I speak your language." I just went with "Maraming salamat po." She's like, "Ah."
And what does that mean?
Oh, thank you very much.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
However, she didn't understand it.
Sorry.
She didn't know. She doesn't even know the language. She just speaks fluent English.
I speak English.
I've lived in this country my entire life, literally. The craziest white guy came up to me today. Well, I thought you were going to tell us how you met. That's not how you met
No,
her.
but anyway, no, that's not how I met her.
It's all the
But,
methamphetamines, probably.
When she got to Greensboro, though, until she got to Greensboro, that was the only Filipino I had seen in that town. And then she got there, and
she
I
discovered
found them all.
They found you.
They're the Mexicans of Asia. I'm telling you, they are hiding in every nook and cranny of every country. A lot of them don't have visas, and they're willing to do a lot of jobs that others won't do for a fraction of the price.
Sure.
So that's
how we keep moving.
God bless them. Yeah, but.
I make a good
What?
one.
Because you know all the Filipinos. That's what I meant.
Yeah,
Vietnamese, bro.
I know, but he knows all
John
the
would
Filipinos.
know the
John's
Portuguese.
Portuguese.
He would know the Portuguese.
That's an entirely different continent.
Completely, yeah, like.
They start with P.
Oh yeah, they do.
They both start with a P.
Yeah. Yep.
Sure.
I apologize.
Sure.
Portland.
So does North America and Nepal.
Portland. I got nothing. I wanted to argue about some other shit with you, but I deleted all my texts
Why?
because I delete my texts.
That's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. I don't understand.
I don't like the ability to somebody.
You're hiding something.
for somebody to
What are
pick
you
my.
hiding?
Not hiding anything. I don't have anything to hide.
So the other week, last week, I think,
dramatic.
when Gonzalez was on,
I do.
you had said something about me wearing bicycle shorts.
The image that I couldn't get out of my head.
And everybody started laughing, and then I started talking about that Matthew Black that was on Live PD.
Yeah.
And the reason I brought him up is because when he came to the door, he was in bicycle, like short little.
Standing there wearing spandex
like
shorts.
short little shorts, yeah. So that's why I had brought up the whole Matthew Black thing.
Did you
about-
see they're bringing Reno 911 back?
No.
Yeah,
Good. All same cast?
I think so.
Very good.
And
Good show.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, new
Did you
Ghostbusters.
see the trailer?
So,
No.
No. I did, but I don't
You
remember
don't want to talk about it?
No, I just don't remember it.
It's like Stranger Things
Oh, okay.
on Ghostbusters.
Okay.
That's about it.
Okay. I saw that. Don't they go to
Oh,
like
good talk, everybody.
one of the?
Thanks
one
for
of
coming
the,
to our podcast. I'm just going to say things to the camera.
Don't they go to someone's cabin and or the farm and they find the trap that has the Slimer in it, right?
Spoiler alert.
It's all in the trailer.
Everybody's dead.
It's going to be a
Great.
it's going to be a darker one.
You think so?
I don't know. I could care less. I mean, I'll
Couldn't.
see.
You couldn't.
I could though. I could care less. I could if I wanted to. I mean, there's a.
Let's
I have
talk
the,
about that.
I have the ability to care less.
But you could care more.
I understand that I said it incorrectly, but I probably could care less. I kind of want to see it, but I could care less. It's on your inflection. Isn't that inflection? How you say things,
Yes,
right?
typically.
The saying though is, "I couldn't care less."
If that was true, yeah, but I could care less in this case.
The question then becomes, why are you stating so?
It's just fucking. You got me there, Nick. You really got me there. Yeah, you got me there. But again, I could, if I wanted to, care less.
Stop saying it.
Just to reiterate.
This is our last show of the year. Did you know that?
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is called a segue.
How was
Yeah.
everyone's Christmas?
Smooth transition.
What did you guys do for Christmas?
Clean up wrapping paper, boxes, and watch my kid play with 400,000 presents. I'm
Good.
excited. I'm really happy to tear my house apart.
Wait, what?
Christmas. Christmas was last week.
Christmas was
yes,
on
last
Remember,
week
because we
and
were in
back.
a time warp?
No, it was
That's
just this
right.
past Wednesday.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
Remember?
So it was almost a week ago.
Yeah, it was a half a week
Sure.
ago.
Half a week ago.
Like 3-4 days, yeah.
Yeah.
And then next week is
Couple
next
days.
year. But for the podcast.
Yeah, buddy.
Right. So Frankie's holding up good down there.
Hell
Frankie
yeah,
is
buddy.
holding up pretty good.
We got a new. Well, we've had it.
Is that the
Frankie
action
ma-
figure?
That's the action
Oh.
figure. Yeah, the
That's
Took it upon
why.
yourself.
the
He
bobblehead.
was still in his original packaging.
I've been worried
He
about the
was.
bobblehead the last few weeks. He's been broken, and he's made it through the podcasts, but I've been worried about him,
I
especially
think I'm going to drill a hole in his head and make him a camera.
especially when my cousin Zach was like waving his tools around Frankie's head. I was really worried about that he was just going to fall.
Yeah,
So-
Ryan broke him twice.
Yeah, he did. Yep.
So, does he have holes in the bottom of his feet?
Probably.
I want to see. Woo.
No.
So he's not compatible with my G.I. Joe equipment.
No holes.
All right.
Nope.
Next time, Frankie, you got to get the holes in the bottom of your feet.
You could drill a hole.
You
We could, yeah.
Yeah, you could make a hole.
So, okay. Well, that's what we'll leave that. We'll just drill some holes in his heels.
That's what being an aircraft technician teaches you.
Can you draw something up for me quick?
Oh, we'll send it over to Zach.
Draw
Send
me
it
some
over
holes.
we'll send it over to Shearer Speed.
Well, yeah, he
Yeah.
can build us the
Perfect.
mold, but
Perfect.
he's going to need to draw it up.
Okay.
Zach can get me the bit
Sure.
out of the bit book. The
I
book of
might,
bits.
I might know somebody that'll do the work for you for cheap.
Oh.
Because you're
shit.
in the Filipino thing.
Yes, that's
Community.
right.
Yeah.
In the community.
I have ties.
You're going to need to put a disclaimer on this one to apologize ahead of time to the entire Asian community.
No, it's okay. I got the card,
Oh, right. Yeah, you're
married to
married
one.
in. Yeah.
and I produced 2.
There you go.
Well,
There
half.
you go.
You know, but
So one.
So
Wait,
one.
one.
I mean, if we're gonna, if we're gonna split the baby.
Pretty sure that's the most racist thing I've said in a while. Okay.
No, the racist shit is that my family says he looks Asian, and the Filipino family says he looks American. So my kids, both the kids. Oh, you look so American. Like, oh, are you kidding me? They look so Asian.
The room was divided on that holiday.
What? Where are you going this week? Anywhere? Nowhere. You're off.
Nowhere. Yeah, I'm off. I go back the 2nd and 3rd.
Yeah, me too.
Me too. I go. Well, actually, I got to go in tomorrow for an hour, but
But I just it'll be local. I won't be flying anywhere.
nice.
And then Jamaica again?
Taking
Yeah.
pictures.
No.
You're not taking pictures.
Been like a good 2-3 months, huh?
No, I will be going to see Government Mule
After you bone up on your editing skills.
and hot tuna.
Oh, hot tuna.
Yes. Looking forward to it.
Good.
Yeah, buddy.
Cool. No drones and boomboxes
No,
this
there'll
time.
probably be drones there.
And a big boombox guy, probably,
Maybe.
while you're
Maybe.
trying to enjoy your breakfast.
No,
At
it was while I was
10:30.
trying to enjoy the quiet
The calm.
beach, the calming
calm.
beach, and then I have to listen to some other guy's fucking boombox.
Who the fuck are you? I don't even know who you are anymore.
Anybody have anything else, Ryan?
Well, no, I'm glad Christmas came.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you get everything you wanted?
I think so.
Good.
My daughter a Nintendo Switch. So
Shh,
that-
don't tell her.
well, she won't listen.
Oh, right.
She'll hear it after
Oh,
Christmas.
Yeah,
right.
so she
I
would've
forgot how the whole thing
known.
worked.
Yeah. Kind of both.
Still
both of us
140
play.
episodes in, still
I
can't
like
figure it out.
Mario Kart.
Deja does not listen to Saturdays with Chicken.
No, she does not.
She has a shirt.
She has a shirt.
What about
For the-
Mario Kart
Mario Kart?
for the Switch?
Yeah. I
Mm.
bought the Switch with the Mario Kart.
Can you bring it down here one day and we'll play?
Sure.
What is that? Just
Tune
a
in
little,
next
like a
week.
little handheld.
Yeah, I mean, it has a docking station. You can.
You got
right
the
there.
big one that plugs into the TV.
Yeah, it plugs in the TV, or I can pick it
Sure.
up and take it with me. Yeah.
I want to get one,
Cool.
Yeah.
but my wife won't. No. Whatever.
I bought that and Legend of Zelda.
Cool.
I'm coming over Christmas Day so I can play video games.
Like I used to come to your
That's what
house
I
on
wanna
Christmas
do.
afternoon when
Yep.
I got my driver's license.
Yep. 'Cause. Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Nick, any plugs? You want to plug your karaoke?
Oh, I mean, for all the listeners in the
Well, you said you
North Carolina Triad area,
You said that you're always.
Would you like to set yourself any reminders?
well, I mean, I'm going to plug.
Nick, when you get home,
I'm going to
pick
plug
up
the
the
hell out
milk.
of this episode, and when I get back home, so I'm gonna plug this episode. So I guess I may as well
Exactly.
plug the appreciate.
Gotta get that DJ horn, man.
No, it is Grace's karaoke, named after my lovely singer of a wife, Grace. And but yeah, we do triad, mostly private parties. We don't really do the bar scene anymore. It got too complicated with royalty issues.
Okay.
That's a whole other story that's not worth speaking about. At this
You married
point.
to a queen?
Grace's karaoke.
You meant music royalties. Do they have queens in the Philippines? They're still a monarchy, aren't they?
No, they are technically a republic. It's a republic of the Philippines.
So there's somebody, one person.
President, yes.
Is he a lunatic?
He's,
Is that Duarte?
He's there. Yeah, Duterte.
Oh yeah, did he fucking hates dope smoking masturbators?
Well, a bit of a generalization, but yeah, essentially,
Right.
yes. That's a good. I mean,
Sums
I
it
don't-
up.
I
Sums
can't-
up the platform pretty good.
Can't really speak to the masturbation aspect, but he is big anti-drug. But
Homosexuality he
he's
doesn't
very-
like.
I have no idea. And
I'm not saying that you
I
are.
know.
I'm not saying that you're
I
going
know.
over there
I'm just saying
protesting
I don't
it.
know.
Oh, okay. You seem like you knew at the beginning.
I
Now,
don't.
Are you worried that the drone's still over there?
No. It's just that Duterte is a very popular person in the so I don't know what smears against him are not true. I haven't
Really?
looked into them all. I trust my wife on a lot of things because she looks into all that stuff more than I do and talks with more people. But Duterte
And she
is,
has
is
a relatively
very
positive
popular.
feeling about him.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. But the majority of the people are very happy. As a matter of fact, well,
I'm
he's,
truly speaking from a
yeah.
like all
no,
I know.
I
is that
know.
he doesn't
And
like
a
dope.
lot of people because
And I thought there was something
that
I
is
read
what
about
gets reported.
masturbating, or I
No,
wouldn't
it's think of it this way.
got
Duterte
no
Duterte
problem.
is the Trump of the Philippines.
Say that again, Nick.
Duterte is the Trump of the Philippines.
Oh, okay.
That's why people try to make that comparison because the reality is the majority of the people actually fucking like the guy.
Mm.
Even if they don't like him or his rhetoric, they like the job that he's doing.
Sure.
So, and that's, I think that speaks to a lot of people in this country at this point. A lot of people, I think, are starting to put politics aside and look around and be like, we're not dying, you know. But I mean, but the fact that they're trying so hard also to get, and that's what they've been doing to Duterte in the Philippines. Is they try to bring charges against him, try to get him removed from office, try to overturn.
Make masturbatory stories up about him.
I mean, it could be true though. I really don't know.
Send him my email.
I really have no idea. I mean, I know he's
There's just one fat guy in Reading, Pennsylvania.
No, but they're much more religious in that country too, so that could have something
Huge
to do with
Catholicism,
it.
right?
Yeah,
All Catholic.
yeah, but large Muslim population as well is starting to cause some disruption.
Yeah.
So,
When I was in school, and I was a friend of mine, her brother was over there and was actually like, I don't know if kidnapped would be the word, but he was kidnapped.
yeah.
Right?
I don't know if kidnap would be the word, but
I got to be extremely delicate with what I say,
Probably.
but definitely some shady stuff. Like I remember them trying to figure out how to get him back. Like he's back and fine, but
A lot of the majority of the population in the Philippines believes that every American is just unendingly wealthy.
Oh.
Like they believe that we are all just living in the absolute lap of luxury.
boy, the joke is on them.
And the reason is that our dollar goes so far in their country.
Right.
So Americans go to their country, and like myself, like I'm a celebrity in my wife's town. Like
Right.
I roll up in there, and like I'm not allowed to walk anywhere by myself. I have an entourage. I'm 2 feet taller than all of them. Right. It's fucking,
so you can see danger coming,
Yeah,
no problem.
Nick's got all the coolest hats. How often do you get back there?
I haven't been in several years. We're planning on going next year we're going to leave after Thanksgiving. And
I'd
stay
like to
for
go with you. I'd like to
5
see what
weeks.
they have to fucking say about the two of us rolling around in there.
Yeah, I think you should.
Oh, you'd be like a
I think
king
you should.
probably over there.
Clear out every fucking food stall I come in contact with.
Oh, yeah.
Give me all of the things that are fried there. All of those. Yep.
I once took a group out. It was the whole household, which was already almost a dozen people, and about the size of this room, but 2 stories, the size of it, but still. About 15 of us maybe went out one night, and we spent over 3 hours at this restaurant. It was all my treat, right? And I told everybody, like everybody was a little shy at first, but started loosening up. Like, so I told the server, I was like, bucket of beer down there, bucket of beer down here, pitcher margarita there, pitcher margarita here. If one's empty, refill it until I say stop.
I'm buying this town.
I told everybody order whatever the fuck you want on the menu. Everybody get your and we I got eventually everybody was very shy, but then eventually got pizzas and fucking one of everything on the menu and 2 of some things, right? And we were there all night, and at the end of the night, everybody was drunk, everybody was full. We still were fucking. There's a live band for 3 hours. My wife got up and sang with them. Like the band came and chilled with us. I introduced them to Jaeger bombs. They had never heard of a Jaeger bomb. They had bottle service.
So
I got a bottle.
Really might
of
be
Jaeger.
like.
People know me there.
That's what I mean. Like it's like.
They're awaiting my return.
Do you have like a name? Do they have a name for you? You have like not like
Kuya Nick.
White Nick.
Kuya's no. That'd be Puti.
What is cool?
Puti Nick. Kuya's just it's an honorific for like older brother. It's a literal.
Incredibly
But
wealthy.
it's also, but it's also kind of like the poet. It's also a sign of respect for an elder.
Okay.
But Kuya is for the male, a female.
Okay.
So the fuck am I saying? Edit that, please.
All right.
Ate for a
Ate.
female. It's Kuya for a man.
All right.
Ate for a woman.
Okay. I'll make sure I edit it.
No, but,
Two edits in a whole 2-minute block.
So,
I
did you
got-
meet your wife? Were you living there, or how did you meet your
we met
wife?
in South Korea.
Okay.
So she was working at my guy that I worked with was the American company over there. He and his Korean wife had a local bar, and they would hire like one bartender at a time, and they would always kind of filter through. Sometimes Korean, sometimes Filipina. There's one Thai chick that worked there one time. At one point, Grace got hired, and so that's how I met her. And we became friends, kind of right away. And then a little later on, shit went down.
Sure.
So
Now, you say when you say
I
about
think he got her knocked up. I think.
when you say about a female, is it Filipina?
Yes.
Because I noticed.
Yeah, they don't do much gender differentiation. Kuya and ate are like the one big gender differentiation, and like Filipino, Filipina, but like a lot of their like pronouns and like stuff is like gender neutral.
Okay.
And then you gotta like describe it with a different word if you don't know who you're talking about. It's weird.
The
Takes
whole
some getting
the whole
used to.
lady boys thing. That's Thailand, right?
No, that's Asia.
Oh,
Yeah. That is the continent.
that was the clearest response I've ever heard. Okay.
I mean, they're well known in Thailand, I think, for sex tourism.
Right,
due to
obviously.
their loose laws over there, but it's also very prominent in the Philippines.
Really?
It's just more of an accepted lifestyle,
Uh-huh.
but it's not necessarily a sex tourism thing, right?
I've seen the
So-
documentaries. I couldn't remember.
I
if
mean,
I
there's
was watching.
definite trafficking and
Not like I'm
shit that
watching a
goes
bunch of
on,
sex
but-
trafficking documentaries. Jesus Christ,
Well.
that's a question that I should have just probably not asked about the lady boys.
Oh, it's okay. No, I understand being
Kinda-
curious.
well,
you know?
yeah,
I
but
wonder
it's,
where that came from.
that curiosity is incriminating.
I
if
don't know if you
nothing
ever
else,
heard
so.
the Jim Norton bit about the lady boys.
No, he
you
loves
know?
Oh God.
Well, I think that'll do it.
Stop. Ending on a lady boy.
I'm willing to field any more questions.
I made it
been
a whole
going-
hour without
Going
mentioning
so well
lady
so
boys.
far.
An hour and 22 minutes in before I mentioned lady boys.
Before you get to the lady boys.
All right.
You know that was the burning question as soon as I said Filipino.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
So you hadn't? Are you guys staying up for a little bit, or is this just you?
Yeah, well, we've been here through the week for Christmas, going back either, what is today, Saturday? Yeah, either today or
He
tomorrow.
knows. How fucking hard is it?
Be home.
Either
home
today
for
or
New Year?
tomorrow
Back
for the
home
New
for-
Year.
yeah.
Yeah, because I go back to work on the 2nd. My wife's got to get back to work too, so she works at a local restaurant. So Elm Street Grill, at Elm Street Grill for all the
There you go.
local triad listeners.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor, but he'll listen to this. I'll make sure of it.
That's awesome.
Shout out to Robbie. Yeah,
Well, thanks for coming on, man.
yeah. Thanks for having me.
Coming, making the
glad to be
trip up
here.
just for us.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
to see you, man.
Exclusively
Yeah,
for you.
actually, Nick
Just for
actually left. He did leave a day early.
I did come a day early to be
because I didn't have anybody scheduled for this weekend.
More
and-
commitment than I have, actually.
Well, actually, shit got all fucked up. We wound up getting here like 3:45 a.m. today.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So you've been parked out my driveway this entire time.
Yeah, just with my alarm set, waiting to roll on in here.
Kids are still out there.
Kids
be
and wife are
sleeping
just
in
out
your-
there with the engine idling.
We'll be sleeping in your basement for a week. You might, Casey told you could use the studio. Yeah.
There's an air mattress over in the other room. All right, that's
All
it.
right, cool.
Anybody have anything else?
No.
Ryan?
I just ate a pepperoni.
Oh, Jesus, we should go before we start again.
Mm.
I mean,
I just don't want to choke on my pepperoni. You're gonna have to cut the whole lady boy thing out and the pepperoni bit.
The only thing I'm cutting out is the Coolio ad thing.
I don't even know what the fuck I said.
Coolo.
Culo,
The wrong fucking word came out.
culo. All right, Nick, thanks for joining us, man.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All right, man. Have a safe trip home. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy New Year. It's been emotional.
Goodbye.